Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scout Reviews Things in 4.5 minutes. I am from my palatial bedroom that I grew up with as a kid. Grew up in as a kid. I'm at my dad's house right now. This is the room I actually slept in when I was growing up here in Michigan. I'm up here in Michigan, and what am I reviewing this time? I'm reviewing the book Hope, the Bob Hope biography by Richard Zoglin. This is a very, very in-depth, this is a very, very well-written book about Bob Hope. It tells you more about Hope than you will ever find in any other book. I'll guarantee it. It also blows the lid off of the public persona that Bob Hope had. You had that public persona of Bob Hope being a nice guy, just with the witty one-liners and the comebacks, and that was just all. I don't want to. It was all fake. Let's just face it was all fake. In real life, Bob Hope was a cold, calculating man. He had to have things his own way. He had to have things his own way all the time, with the people he worked with the people who worked for him, and even with his family. He wasn't close to anybody. He was a very, very shut-off man. He shut himself off from everybody. His partner, his longtime partner, Bing Crosby, didn't really like Bing Crosby. He didn't like the fact that Bing Crosby got all the women in the movies. And when Bing Crosby died, the only thing that he was broken up about was that they were supposed to do another movie together, and now they couldn't do the movie because Bing Crosby died. And I believe in the book he says, "Great, Bing screwed me," or something like that. That was his attitude. He also, with his family, he was not a very loving father. He was not a very devoted husband. It came out that he slept around. He slept with a lot of women. He liked sleeping with women, and his wife knew about it. So once again, we have this business relationship as a marriage. He wanted to have the public persona of being a happily married man with kids, and the pictures and the magazines and all that, that's what they would show. Behind the scenes, he liked to sleep with beautiful women. His wife knew that. His wife liked having all the benefits of being Mrs. Bob Hope. Symbiotic relationship. That was how it was. That's how it is. Bob Hope was the first guy ever to hire writers. Well, I shouldn't say he's not the first guy to hire writers, but he was the first guy to have writers on call 24 hours a day for any need that he would have. They wouldn't just write for his TV show. They wouldn't just write for his radio show. Wouldn't just write for his movies. They would write for any occasion that he needed. Such as if he was going golfing with Richard Nixon and he called somebody up, he called one of his writers up on the phone and said, "Give me jokes that I can tell Richard Nixon while we're out on the golf course." Once again, to have the persona that he was the funniest man alive and that he was quick-witted and that all this was off the cuff. And the writers knew this. The writers, they said if you wrote for Bob Hope, if the phone rang at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you did not answer that phone, because you knew it was Bob Hope, if you did not answer that phone, you would not have a job the next day. And that's just how it was. He was a very, very strict guy. He needed to have things his own way. And he did for most of his life. Because he was so popular and he was so loved. He did the troops, and one of the horrifying stories that you get in the book about all the USO tours is on every USO tour, he would have a beautiful woman with him, and he would try to sleep with this beautiful woman on these trips, and if she refused, he would threaten to leave her there, wherever they were, Korea, Japan. And that is just a horrifying thing to these young starlets who didn't know better. It's just, this is a great in-depth read about early